Hi, my name is George, and the and so far during the month of October, I decided to do what I call Swatchtober, where I give you a couple of ideas per day and illustrated the idea in swatches and doodling. So this sheet represents 17 days so far. But I wanted to um, change it up a little bit because of a comment that I received for one of my videos. But before I start, I'm using Arches 100-pound, well, 100% cotton watercolor paper. It's a 140-pound cold pressed. Now, if you don't have Arches, which is fine, I'm using mine because I got it a couple of years ago and it was sitting on my shelf waiting for me to use it. But I also like using B watercolor paper. Again, it's 140-pound cold press and it's 100% cotton, but a lot more affordable. I'm using my Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s, but you can use anything you have that you're comfortable with. The colors I used today included cobalt blue, violet, brown, and ochre. What you see in the screen now are some examples of my previous work before I had a stroke. These include a doodle with a regular pen, some watercolor, some acrylics, and an egg for an egg house that I painted in acrylics on stone. So, a little history. In 2020, in June, I had a stroke. As you can imagine, I was pretty freaked out. I mean, I've had other medical situations, but this one was pretty big. Anyway, I was able to get to the hospital with the help of some people in my apartment building office. They were very kind, considerate, and offered me a lot of support. And I will be forever thankful for them. Anyway, so with my stroke, I couldn't speak. I could read and understand words, but I couldn't speak. And I could walk, but my form of communication was by writing out messages on a pad of paper that I had. Fast forward a few days in the hospital, and I still have my pad of paper and my pen, and I was still communicating with writing out messages. At some point, I, probably because I was really bored in the hospital, I decided to try and doodle a little bit, and it was touch and go, not as smooth as I remember it being. And this in itself was kind of scary. My doctors suggested I continue my doodling because it would help me focus, build concentration, and plasticity of my brain, which apparently I needed. So I kept on doodling, and on February 2023, I decided to go with my exploration for doodling. Now, I've always doodled, and unfortunately always took whatever innate creativity I had as an just something I did and took it for granted. You know, something I would do when I was bored. But now it was very important to me. So, as I was saying, I started my YouTube channel because I wanted to practice my doodling. So, for about a month or so, I would do quick videos sped up me doodling. And then on March 8th, 2023, I started doing voiceovers for my videos. This was the first voiceover that I did, but getting back to the comment that I was mentioning before, someone had commented that they taught art therapy. And then it reminded me why I started my channel in the first place. To get back to doodling and maybe painting in the long run. Now, I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV. So what I'm going to say about the benefits of art therapy are my opinions only. So take them with a grain of salt, but for me, art helps. For me, when I'm creating art, it takes me from my internal anxiety, worry, etc., and releases my ability to communicate in another way that is positive and rewarding. In other words, it takes me outside of my mind, which can be kind of frightening because when you are recovering from a stroke, you're pretty anxious and worried all the time. For me, art is a happy place. It's safe. I don't have to worry about anything than what I'm doing. The only expectation that I have are those that I put on myself. And the more I create and live in my happy place, the more I look forward to being there. When I'm creating, I try to dampen my instinctual because I'm really kind of a perfectionist. But when I draw or paint nowadays, I'm less judgmental because the more I create, the less inhibitions will I listen to. In fact, when I'm down on myself, or maybe I haven't drawn in a couple of days, or I'm bored, which is another benefit from doodling or painting. When I go back to doodling or painting, then I calm down and I'm less likely to be depressed. And let me tell you that when you are recovering from a stroke or another debilitating illness or pain syndrome, it's pretty easy to get isolated and depressed. So anything that you can do other than taking drugs, which if you need to, as long as it by a doctor prescribing it, do it. The older I get, the less self-medication is a good thing, especially when it's so simple, yet it can be complicated as well to allow yourself to explore your own creativity, whether it's reading, writing, drawing, painting, dancing, whatever. My type of therapy happens to be art because I'm more familiar with it than other things. I'm probably making it sound more complicated than it really is, but there are so many benefits for art as a form of therapy. I mean, sadly, if you're into sports and something happens that you are not able to participate in sports, which I hope never happens to you, by picking up a piece of paper and a pen, or trying to sing if that is your form of outlet. Don't stop because you're not perfect, or in my case, I couldn't carry a tune to break out of a paper bag, but just do it. So I want to thank the person who commented on art therapy and started me on my soapbox and meandering. And if you're still listening, give yourself a big thumbs up for at least listening and considering, and knowing that you're not crazy or strange because you doodle or paint at 4 in the morning because this is your quiet time. Don't worry. In the long run, you're helping yourself. So I hope you have enjoyed the doodling and painting process in the background and got some interesting ideas on your next painting. Just have fun with your supplies. Remember to VOTE because it's getting close to VOTING day, and be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and get creative. What are you waiting for? I will see you in the next video. Bye. Oh, and before I forget, I read all the comments and try my best to answer them. So if you have any questions or suggestions, let me know, and I'll try to address them as soon as I'm able. Bye.